I confess, when I emphasize the pleasure of difficulty and the desire for difficulty, I'm resisting or trying to counter the kind of panic people get about poetry. Maybe it comes from well-meaning teaching in school. Think about visual art. Think about a work of visual art that is considered one of the greatest things ever, that everybody loves, and that tourists flock to in the millions. The ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. You can buy a guidebook and you can have a lecture and you start to understand all the allusions that are involved in that illustrated, carefully planned out and categorized work. Few of us understand 20% of what we see when we look up there, and that's just talking about allusions and meaning and stories that are represented. What about all the techniques to change the level or kind of visual art? When you put a picture or a poster on the wall where you live, you don't expect to understand everything about it any more than you understand what's happening in a piece of music that you like. I guess I'm advocating easing up a little bit on the pressure to understand every word completely. Most of the things that happen all day, you understand somewhere between, I'm guessing in my case, I understand between a maximum of 82% and a often enough minimum of 7% of the things I see, hear, read, think about. Speaking of the Sistine Chapel, there's a great poem by Michelangelo, who is a serious, wonderful poet. It's his poem about working on the Sistine Chapel. And in my opinion, it makes some of the point I'm making about difficulty, and it makes it partly by the pleasure of complaining. I think it's one of the things we like about hard work and about being involved in a really difficult crossword puzzle or video game or research problem or patient we're dealing with. Complaining about how hard it is part of the pleasure. In Gail Mazur's wonderful translation, here is Michelangelo Buonarroti's sonnet on painting the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo to Giovanni di Pistoia, when the author was painting the vault of the Sistine Chapel. 1509. I've already grown a goiter from this torture, hunched up here like a cat in Lombardy or anywhere else where the stagnant water's like poison. My stomach's squashed under my chin, my beard's pointing at heaven, my brain's crushed in a casket, my breast twists like a harpies, my brush above me dribbles paint so my face makes a fine floor for droppings. My haunches are grinding into my guts. My poor ass strains to work as a counterweight. Every gesture I make is blind and aimless. My skin hangs loose below me. My spine's all knotted from folding over itself. I'm bent as taut as a Syrian bow. Because I'm stuck like this, my thoughts are crazy, perfidious tripe. Anyone shoots badly through a crooked blowpipe. My painting is dead. Defend it for me, Giovanni. Protect my honor. I am not in the right place. I am not a painter. I hope everyone has felt that way. And I believe that he knew we might laugh and chuckle at having someone considered maybe the greatest artist close his poem by saying, I am not a painter. He may have meant I'm really a sculptor, but I think he also meant despair is part of this process. And I think our cycles of depression and despair are part of what we relish and crave. They're part of our cycle of understanding and creating. And whether it's Michelangelo working on his ceiling, or somebody starting to get interested in a sport, or in a series of novels, or a whole kind of mythology, trying to interpret and deal with the overwhelming number of things that are to be known and to be understood calls on a very deep appetite.